All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Monday, July 2nd of 2018. This was probably one of the best drives I've ever had to the office today. There's absolutely nobody on the street. I swear to you, I felt like we were shooting a horror film, and I was part of it, or like one of those natural disaster films. It's a holiday here in Canada, but that's not going to stop three incredible traders such as this guy here, Victorio, Marky over there, and myself. We're still at work because the U.S. market's open. Today is Canada Day holiday, and this week is going to be the July 4th Independence Day celebration in the United States on Wednesday. So we have a lot of holidays that are sort of starting to take place, but that doesn't stop us from having one of the busiest weeks in all of July. So on Thursday and Friday, we'll talk about what's coming out on those 2 days in a little bit. All right, we're starting out this week at the moment with some downside on equities. In Asia, Japan's down 2.2%, Hong Kong's up 1.6%, China's down 2.5%, India's down 0.5%. In Europe at midday, London's down 1, Paris is down 1.2, and Frankfurt down 0.7%. So stocks in Europe are getting hit as well early on this week. Futures in the United States, Dow Jones is down 0.7, S&P down 0.6, NASDAQ down 0.7. So right across the board, all key equity markets globally are down to start the week. After seeing a little bit of a rally in the end of last week, the rally going into the end of last week is what we call the mid-year rebalance. Okay, and what happens is portfolio managers reshuffle their deck. Basically, if you think about having an asset allocation and you promise investors 50% equity, 50% fixed income, that's your standard balanced portfolio. And the market's dropped a lot that quarter. How are you going to rebalance it? Sell bonds and buy equities. And that's what the trend was on Friday. Now that we've gotten the mid-year mark out of the way, it's officially now the second half of 2018. If you're having a mid-year crisis, me too. I'm having a mid-year crisis. I had one last night. So anywho, point I'm trying to make is the second half of 2018 is now on. Crude oil is down 0.6% on some Trump news. This is very interesting. We'll talk about that in a moment. Gold's down 0.4%. Bitcoin down 0.2, but back above 6,000 and holding that level. All right, 10-year Treasury yield down 2 basis points at 2.83. So yields are dropping a little bit despite the fact the Fed's been more hawkish. 10 a.m. 9:45 we have the PMI manufacturing index. 10 a.m. we have the ISM manufacturing index today. So today we're going to see two sets of data on the latest manufacturing numbers. And then also at 10 we get construction spending. So pretty busy start to the week, to be honest with you, to the opening bell at least. And Tuesday, the markets are going to close the futures at 1:15 p.m. Eastern, only to reopen again at 6 p.m. So we only close really for 5 hours, but I wouldn't recommend trading that. If you're thinking, hey, I got the day off, I'm going to try myself at day trading, that's the worst thing that you could do. I strongly advise you to not do that because you're going to be trading with every other amateur that says that. And it's just going to be amateur hour. And what you want to do is trade with professional traders because they provide the volume for us to make money and trade the momentum. All right. So just be careful trading these holidays. Tuesday it's closed, Wednesday it's closed, Thursday we reopen, and my goodness, we have a busy Thursday. All right, at 8:30 we have the ADP numbers, which are precursor to the non-farm payrolls. We also have at 2 p.m. we have the Federal Reserve FOMC announcement and meeting minutes. It's not an announcement, just meeting minutes. Friday we have the monthly payroll jobs report. Last month it was super strong. This month we're looking for some confirmation, and that's going to have implications on the future outlook of interest rates. We got a lot on the calendar Thursday and Friday, ton of stuff. We'll keep you posted throughout those days as they come up. All right. So stocks are down globally on some tougher trade talk over the weekend. The European Union warned the United States to hold off on these tariffs and not implement them. Trump administration drafted a bill to raise tariffs unilaterally, which goes against the code of the World Trade Organization, the WTO. Trump actually, in addition to that, has been rumored to have been drafting some legislation to get rid of not get rid of WTO, but for them to exit out of it, the World Trade Organization. And it's a huge organization. Over 200 countries participate in it, which makes it massive. It's pretty much every country. All right, so there was a little bit of tension there and turmoil, and that's putting some risk in the market. So it's getting hit. It's natural. All right, from Mexico, Andre Manuel Lopez Obrador. My Mexican brothers and sisters, let me know how well I did on that. Out of 10, how well did I do the pronunciation? Seeing solid ones across the board. He won the Mexican presidency on Sunday by a wide margin. That moves Mexico to a leftist leadership, and they're looking for change. Mexico's looking for change. All right, the peso rallied about 1% against the U.S. dollar on hope of AMLO. That's his nickname. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, AMLO. It's a cool nickname. My initials are GAP. So anyways, AMLO took presidency, and he plans to have a tougher stance against the United States when it comes time to the border wall. He said, I'm going to stand up to the president for the people of Mexico, and this border wall won't be happening, essentially. So it's interesting. There's change of leadership right as we get into some potential NAFTA renegotiation. Trump has said over the weekend that he wants NAFTA talks to resume after the midterm elections in November. So you probably won't hear much until then. All right. Barely a week after OPEC decides to increase production slightly in their agreement with all their OPEC and non-OPEC nations, Donald Trump surprised oil markets Saturday, and he did the following. He announced a new side agreement with the Saudis, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, by the way, officially lifting a ban for females to drive. I think that's amazing. Congratulations to all females that they were not allowed to drive before. I think that's ridiculous. Congratulations to you. You're getting I actually saw a really funny video of a girl in a car rapping about it. Oh, I love it. Anywho, point is, I'm trying to make Saudi Arabia has made a deal with Donald Trump to increase output of 2 million barrels per day, in addition to what they've agreed with their OPEC and non-OPEC community. Now, here's the thing about that. That's to compensate for shortages based on the Iran sanctions that the U.S. put on them and the Venezuela tensions that are going on there politically. And so here's the question about that, though. OPEC, Saudi Arabia is one of the biggest producers. They're right up there. They are the biggest producer. So they go in there and they tell their OPEC and non-OPEC members they're willing to hold to this agreement and cut their production and raise it a little bit, but still keep themselves under a regulated supply agreement. And then they make a side deal with Donald Trump to add an additional 2 million barrels per day. How are the rest of these nations going to feel about this? I'll tell you how they're going to feel. Betrayed. What they're going to do is say, screw you, Saudi Arabia. If you're planning to do that, I'm going to sell some of my oil. Forget this agreement. And I think the next 4 to 6 weeks is a very tumultuous time for oil, because we're going to have to look at the compliance reports. If one nation starts to cheat, all nations are going to cheat, and this deal is going to fall apart, and oil is going to crash. It's going to be down 5-6% very quickly, because the premise of oil being so strong is the fact that they're limiting supply. All right, so you got to know about that. That's been a very big update, a little bit of a head scratcher in the oil market. Today, we're going to trade oil to the downside. I think we're going to get a little sell-off coming. Excuse me. Although it's rallied for this moment off the open. All right. Last but not least, Elon Musk. This is a quotable. I think we just became a real car company. That's what Elon Musk said. Elon, I think you were a real car company when you started making real cars, dude. I grant you the permission to call yourself a real car company. Tesla is going to absolutely soar today. If you're short on Tesla, I don't know how to say this nicely. Get ready to get punched in the face on the open. It's going to hurt, because they announced their production target of 5,000 Model 3s per week officially hit. They have to set up a bootleg tent in their parking lot. But they've hit their 5,000 car production target per week for the Model 3 and 7,000 cars in total when you include the Model X and the Model S. After a pretty turbulent June for Tesla. I mean, it laid off 9% of its workforce. All right, they had 2 fires at their plant in California, accused a former employee of sabotage, a whole bunch of stuff. Drone footage showing that this tent was very low quality, low budget, and very low production. No cars were being built there. They've had a rough couple weeks, and that's allowed short sellers to jump in the market, try to push it lower. Now they've announced they've hit their production targets and their quotas. And get ready for a big, giant short squeeze on the open. And if Tesla short squeezes, I think we could get a little bit of life in FANG. And if FANG starts to rally, we could get a little bit of life in NASDAQ. NASDAQ rallies, we get a little bit of life in the S&P 500. See how these things spill over into each other? And we could have a reversal. However, this morning, I'm trading the downside first. And when I see some key resistances taken out, we're going to switch long. That's all I got for you guys today. Happy Monday. All the best. Manage your risk. Today, you're going to have to take a bit of a slower approach. There might be lower volume, lower volatility. So trade with less contracts and take profit quicker. All right, guys. Take care. Have an absolutely fantastic day. See you tomorrow morning. And by the way, tonight we have a webinar with our affiliate partner, Top Step Trader. They're going to tell you how you can get funded. Do you want money for your account to trade with? Top Step Trader will give you money. They'll pretty much fund you, and then you get to keep 80% of your profits. They get a 20% cut. That's one of the highest payout ratios in the industry. If you want to participate, give me 5 minutes. We'll put the link in the description, and you could sign up for that. You guys take care. Have yourself a great day. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. All the best. See you at tonight's webinar. Goodbye. Top Step Trader. Trade Pros, are you guys ready for another day of trading? That's good. Allow me to end it. Oh, thanks, Marky.